Have you ever been behind the wheel, maybe on a sunny afternoon, and felt just a little less confident than you used to? Maybe your reactions aren't quite as quick, or you second-guess whether you're reading that street sign clearly. If you've noticed these things, you're not alone. And let me tell you, they don't mean your driving days are over. Far from it. Here's the truth. You absolutely can stay sharp, confident, and road-ready well into your 80s, and even beyond. It's not about pushing your limits or pretending you're still 30. It's about taking smart, simple steps to keep yourself healthy, aware, and in control. Because let's be honest, driving isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about freedom. It's about independence. Being able to hop in the car and go where you want, when you want. That's a feeling worth holding on to. So today, we're going to talk about exactly how to do that. 6 practical things you can start doing right now to keep your keys and your confidence firmly in your hands. These aren't gimmicks or wishful thinking. These are real, doable habits that can make all the difference. Let's start with one that most people overlook entirely, but it's absolutely critical. Getting your eyes checked regularly and wearing the right lenses. Now, I know it sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many seniors just make do with old prescriptions or put off eye exams because they figure things are good enough. Here's the thing, vision changes are often so gradual, you don't even notice how much clarity you've lost until it's affecting your ability to spot a stop sign in time or see a cyclist in your blind spot. Even something like slightly outdated glasses can cause issues with depth perception, which is huge when you're judging distance on the road. And don't forget, our night vision naturally declines with age. If you've been avoiding driving at night, it might not be the roads. It might just be your lenses aren't optimized for low light anymore. So, make it a rule. Get your eyes checked at least once a year. Not just for a new prescription, but also to check for things like cataracts, glaucoma, or macular degeneration. These conditions can creep up without warning, and early detection can make all the difference. Not just for your driving, but for your overall quality of life. Alright, so we've got vision covered. But what about something you might not think is connected to driving? Your core strength. Yes, I said core strength. Your abs, your lower back, your posture muscles. Here's why it matters. When you're sitting behind the wheel, your body is doing a lot more than just sitting. You're constantly adjusting your position, turning to check mirrors, twisting your neck and shoulders to glance over your shoulder, pressing the gas and brake pedals, and responding to unexpected situations. All of that takes physical coordination and stability. And as we age, those muscles can weaken, slowly, subtly, making us stiffer, slower to react, or just plain uncomfortable behind the wheel. And if you're uncomfortable or in pain while driving, chances are you won't drive as often, or you'll avoid certain routes or times of day. Before you know it, your world starts shrinking. And that's exactly what we don't want. So how do you keep that core strong and supportive? You don't need to hit the gym or lift heavy weights. Simple exercises like seated leg lifts, gentle yoga stretches, or even walking with intentional posture can go a long way. Even just standing up straight, pulling in your belly button slightly, and walking tall around the house helps activate those deep core muscles. If you're not sure where to start, consider a local senior fitness class or even a short daily YouTube routine you can follow from home. It doesn't have to be a big commitment. Just a little consistency goes a long way. And speaking of movement, that brings us to another crucial piece of the puzzle: reaction time. Now, we all know that as we get older, things might slow down a bit. But that doesn't mean we can't stay quick and alert. It just means we need to give our brain and body the tools to stay sharp. Reaction time is your body's ability to respond quickly to a situation. Like when a car stops suddenly in front of you, or a child darts out between parked cars. The faster your body can interpret and respond, the safer you'll be. So how do we keep that reaction time sharp? Believe it or not, brain games can help. Puzzles, memory games, and even video games designed for seniors can improve your cognitive speed. One fun trick is to try activities that combine mental and physical actions, like playing catch with a friend, or even just tossing a tennis ball against a wall and catching it with alternating hands. Sounds simple, but it challenges your coordination and timing. Another helpful tip? Practice what I like to call mindful driving drills. When you're a passenger, or even walking, you can make a little game out of spotting street signs early, identifying hazards, or predicting what the traffic light will do next. It's like mental rehearsal, and it keeps those reflexes sharp even when you're not behind the wheel. But don't underestimate the power of rest either. Lack of sleep can delay your reaction time significantly. So make sure you're giving your brain enough rest to recover and reset every night. If you're waking up groggy or dragging through the day, that's a sign your sleep might need some attention too. Now, while we're on the topic of reaction and attention, there's one more area we absolutely have to talk about, and that's hearing. Think about how much of driving involves sound. Sirens, horns, engine changes, alerts from your own car. Your ears are working just as hard as your eyes when you're out on the road. If you're missing those audio cues, even just slightly, it can slow your response, or worse, leave you unaware of a danger nearby. And again, it's easy to adapt gradually and not realize how much you're missing until it becomes a real safety concern. So if it's been a while since you've had your hearing checked, don't put it off. Today's hearing aids are more comfortable and effective than ever. And honestly, the confidence boost that comes from hearing everything clearly again? It's amazing. You're not just doing it for driving, you're doing it for daily conversations, music, laughter. All the little things that make life full. Hearing, vision, core strength, reaction time, these aren't just pieces of a checklist. They're part of a bigger picture. Staying active, independent, and fully engaged with the world around you. Because when you feel in control of your body and your senses, driving doesn't feel like a risk, it feels like a joy again. And really, that's what this is all about. Keeping you behind the wheel, not just safely, but happily. With confidence. With clarity. With freedom. Now that we've covered these first areas, let's keep going. Now that you're already thinking about things like vision, hearing, core strength, and reaction time, let's talk about something a little less obvious, but just as important when it comes to staying road ready. Your flexibility and range of motion. Think about how often you turn your head while driving. You're checking mirrors, looking over your shoulder to change lanes, scanning intersections. It's a full body experience, whether we realize it or not. But if your neck feels stiff or your shoulders don't turn like they used to, that simple act of checking your blind spot can become a real challenge. And let's be honest, if something feels uncomfortable or painful, we tend to avoid doing it. That's human nature. The trouble is, avoiding those movements behind the wheel can lead to missed hazards and slower responses. So what can you do? You don't need to turn yourself into a gymnast, I promise. But incorporating some gentle stretching into your daily routine can really open things up. Start with your neck, slow, easy side-to-side movements. Then roll your shoulders forward and back a few times. Even just lifting your arms above your head and reaching can help keep your upper body mobile and strong. The goal isn't to stretch until it hurts, it's to keep things moving so you can keep moving confidently when you drive. One really great stretch I recommend is the seated spinal twist. You just sit upright in a chair, place your right hand on the back of the chair, and gently turn your torso to the right, using your left hand on your thigh for support. Hold for a few breaths, then switch sides. This helps mimic the motion of looking over your shoulder, and it feels great. If you've been feeling a little stiff lately, try doing some light stretching first thing in the morning and again before you get in the car. It doesn't take long, 5 to 10 minutes is enough. But the impact it can have on your comfort and safety while driving, huge. Now, staying physically flexible is one thing. But let's talk about another kind of flexibility, mental flexibility. And that brings us to our next big tip. Stay updated with modern driving changes and technology. Cars aren't what they used to be. Today's vehicles come with backup cameras, lane assist, blind spot alerts, all sorts of bells and whistles that can actually make driving safer, if you know how to use them. The thing is, some of us grew up driving cars where the fanciest thing was a tape deck and maybe a sunroof. So when someone hands you a car with a screen the size of a TV and buttons everywhere, it can feel a little overwhelming. But here's the thing, these features are there to help you, not confuse you. Take a little time to learn what your car can do. If you're not sure how something works, ask a family member to walk you through it, or even stop by your dealership. Many of them will gladly show you how to use your car's features without any pressure to buy anything. For example, backup cameras can be a game changer if turning your head is uncomfortable. Lane departure alerts can give you peace of mind on the highway. Adaptive cruise control can ease the burden on long drives. These aren't just nice-to-haves. they can actually extend your ability to drive safely for years to come. Also, if it's been a while since you brushed up on traffic rules, it's worth reviewing. You'd be surprised how much has changed over the years. Roundabouts, new signage, even changes in right-of-way laws. Many senior centers or local DMV branches offer refresher courses designed just for older drivers. Some are even online. And they're not about pointing out what you're doing wrong. They're about giving you more tools to feel confident and capable on today's roads. Learning something new, especially related to technology, can also help keep your brain sharp. And that brings us to something else that's just as important as your physical and mental health. Your mindset. Let's be honest. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. Maybe you've had a close call or someone made a comment like, "Should you still be driving at your age?" And suddenly you start questioning yourself. Doubt creeps in, and before you know it, you're second-guessing your every move behind the wheel. Here's what I want to say to you. Age doesn't determine your ability. Preparation does. Awareness does. Willingness to adapt and grow does. You're not 25 anymore, sure, but that's not a bad thing. You have experience. You've handled every kind of road condition, seen every kind of driver, and learned from every mile. That's not something to overlook. It's something to be proud of. Confidence comes from preparation. So every stretch, every eye exam, every brain game or safety feature you learn, those are all deposits into your driving confidence bank. And confidence behind the wheel doesn't just make you feel better, it actually makes you a safer driver. People who feel prepared tend to drive more alertly, more calmly, and make better decisions on the road. If you've been feeling nervous or unsure, you're not alone. But you're not powerless either. Every single tip we've talked about today is something you can start doing. You're not waiting on someone else to give you permission to drive. You're taking charge of your ability to keep doing it safely. And remember, it's okay to set your own boundaries. Maybe you don't drive at night anymore, or you avoid the freeway during rush hour. That's not giving up, it's smart driving. It's personalized driving. You're making choices based on your strengths, and that's the key to staying safe and independent. So, where are we now? We've talked about keeping your vision sharp, your body strong, your mind quick, your movement fluid, and your attitude empowered. There's one more important piece of this puzzle we need to cover, and it might just be the one that ties everything else together. But before we dive into that, just take a second and check in with yourself. How do you feel about your own driving lately? Confident? Hesitant? Somewhere in between? Wherever you are, just know that you're not alone, and the fact that you're here, right now, listening and learning, says a lot about your commitment to staying strong, independent, and safe. And that deserves a big pat on the back. There's something special about taking control of the wheel. It's not just about transportation. It's a symbol of freedom, of choice, of saying, "I've still got this." And by now, you've taken in some powerful ways to protect that freedom. Keeping your vision and hearing in top shape, staying strong and flexible, sharpening your reaction time, and even adapting to new technology with confidence. But there's one last key that brings all of this together. Your health habits outside the car. Because here's the truth. How you live when you're not driving directly affects how well you drive when you are. Let's talk about medication first. If you're taking any prescription drugs, it's important, really important, to understand how they affect your ability to drive. Some medications, especially those that treat things like blood pressure, anxiety, or pain, can cause drowsiness, slow your reflexes, or affect your focus. And sometimes you might not even realize it, until you're on the road and something feels just a little bit off. So the next time you pick up a new prescription or even a refill, take a minute to ask your pharmacist or doctor, "Will this affect my driving?" It's such a simple question, but it can prevent serious problems. If there is a potential side effect, don't panic. It doesn't always mean you have to stop driving. Sometimes it just means adjusting the timing of when you take it, or switching to a different medication that suits you better. And let's not forget about over-the-counter meds either. Things like cold medicine, allergy pills, even sleep aids, they can be sneaky. Just because you bought it without a prescription doesn't mean it's harmless when you're behind the wheel. Now, on the flip side of that, there are also medications and supplements that can actually support your ability to stay alert and energetic. Things like vitamin B12, which helps with energy and focus, or omega-3s for brain health. But again, Check with your healthcare provider before starting anything new. What's good for one person might not be right for another, especially when it comes to interactions. And beyond medication, there's something else that affects your ability to be a great driver: hydration and nutrition. Sounds simple, right? But you'd be surprised how many folks over 60 go most of the day without drinking enough water, or skip meals because they're not hungry. Dehydration can make you feel tired, dizzy, even confused. That's the last thing you want while you're behind the wheel. Try this. Before you head out to drive, make it a habit to drink a glass of water. Have a light, balanced snack, something with a bit of protein and some healthy carbs. You don't need a full meal, just enough to keep your energy steady and your mind sharp. A banana with peanut butter, a boiled egg and toast, or even a handful of almonds can do the trick. Staying road-ready isn't just about what you do in the car. It's about how you take care of yourself every day. Your body and brain are the most important driving tools you have, so treat them like the high-performance machines they are. And while we're talking about daily habits, I want to say something that might surprise you. Rest is just as important as movement. You don't have to go non-stop to prove you're still capable. In fact, pacing yourself is part of smart, sustainable independence. Listen to your body. If you're feeling tired, don't push it. There's no shame in taking breaks or changing your routine to fit what you need today. That's not giving in, it's staying in control. Sometimes people feel like they have to choose between being strong and independent, or being careful and cautious. But that's a false choice. You can be both. You should be both. Strength doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means facing it with the right tools and mindset. And if one day comes where you decide not to drive anymore, that doesn't mean you've lost your independence. It means you're choosing to adapt, to thrive in a new way. But until then, if you still love being behind the wheel, and you're doing the work to stay safe and capable, then by all means, keep driving. Keep living. Keep going where you want to go. Let's take a second to recap, not as a list, but as a reminder of how much is within your power. You're taking care of your vision, hearing, and reaction time. You're staying physically strong and flexible. You're learning new tools and tech that help you instead of overwhelm you. You're making smart choices with your health and medications. You're keeping your energy up, your mindset sharp, and your confidence high. That's not a small thing. That's a huge accomplishment. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're still cruising down the highway or just want to feel a little steadier around town, know this: you've got what it takes. The world doesn't shrink as you get older unless you let it. And you're not letting it. You're expanding your world, one smart decision at a time. If you found something helpful today, or if you've been nodding along, thinking, yes, I needed to hear this, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Share your experience. Maybe you've got a tip of your own that helps you stay confident behind the wheel. I know others would benefit from hearing it too. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video. It helps more people find it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more down-to-earth, real-life advice on staying healthy, happy, and independent at any age. We've got so much more to talk about, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Above all, remember this: your age doesn't define your limits. Your habits do. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep tuning into what your body and mind need. And keep holding on to the things that bring you joy and freedom. Here's to safe travels, strong minds, and confident hearts, on the road and in life. You've got this. And I'm right here cheering you on every mile of the way.